Alright, so what Islam and the Nazi regime would have in common is they want to take over the world. They spread it by violence. I'll show you a report. It looks like it's the Catholics version or take on the Crusades. So we'll break down the Crusades and we'll go investigate that a little bit because I believe that the Crusaders may have been fierce warriors, may have been really good at fighting, so they would kill a lot of Muslims, basically, not Arabs. We're not saying Arabs in particular, because Arabs can be um, anybody. They can be a Catholic or a Protestant or an atheist. Arabs can be Muslim. Just generally, we think of them as being a Muslim. And then again, not all just Arabs are in the Muslim or in the are a Muslim or think Islam as a religion. But it sounds like it comes down to fundamentally being a kind of a fascist type of movement, and where we have only two that we say that are directly related to them in particular is that they are anti-Semitic, they hate Jews. So again, we're understanding that maybe not all Muslims, if you want to say not all Muslims hate Jews or hate Christians, we'll break down the crusade and we'll see exactly what that's all about, or give a take on the reason why Muslims can live with Jews and Christians at times, and then on the other hand, they're pushing a caliphate. So it's a caliphate is a one state uh, um, Islamic state, and that's what it is, led by one person who they say is like reincarnated, sort of like reincarnated as like Muhammad or something. It's like it sounds like the caliphate, the Muslim caliphate, sounds like the Buddhist, where the or these other religions like that, where they reincarnate like that. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like a reincarnated person or something. But anyhow, so we have they hate Jews, and then the other thing is they fundamentally kill and execute civilians. They don't just do it to military people. And I can see it's funny how some people can argue that like waterboarding or doing other excessive, and we all agree it's excessive. Dude, but these guys are terrorists. They come on airplanes and they've plotted and they've done very much as much damage as they could, and they're trying to kill as many people as they can, try to terrorize and scare people. So, um, what's excessive? It's okay to do for them to be excessive and go way past over the top even. I mean, past being over the top. You already go over the top with what you're doing is sadistic. And it's against civilians and children and innocent people, and not necessarily aimed at the military. So it sounds like a coward way to do it. But um, I'm just wondering, uh, so they're they're trying to take over the world. take over the planet. That was the first point I was making there. So let's go from there. So they have a idea to take over the planet. I'm gonna show and cite a place on here by doing a screen share. This is they say the real history of the Crusades Catholic Education Resource Center. I haven't finished reading this yet, but basically what they're saying, what they're saying in the article is that they're tolerant of Jews and Christians are supposed to be or something in an Islamic country or state. But if they're living in a Christian or Jewish country or state, they must be aiming to kill you. And that's what they were doing in the Crusades, was what the Muslims were doing to people to push the caliphate or, you know, what's the guy's name? Muhammad. So, anyhow, I think that you have a couple of choices. You have either you let them bully us around and push us around, and let this President Obama, this guy drops leaflets to ISIS to warn ISIS that we're coming. So, uh, and he really thinks that that's necessary. Yeah, yeah, sure. He's not really a Muslim scum sympathizer who's uh, pretty much helped build the Islamic State to where it is. They made that movie about that 2012. It says 2016 or something movie. I went and saw it, and it was interesting. It looks exactly just like that, like Obama. That's what he accomplished, was helping to rise uh, the Islamic State back to a as ferocious and as a big as a monster as it possibly can. So um, he's funneling. He's sure is. He's funneling all of our money out of the country. Whenever he made us pull out of Iraq, he put he left like all of our military equipment and everything over there. So I don't understand that. I don't understand the pulling us out of a place without pushing democracy. So I don't understand what other people think that it's necessary. They're saying, like, they're making excuses for, like, us being to be look portrayed bad, like Vietnam's like a black eye or something to America, but not because a bunch of yuppies and hippies all um, basically were dancing and showing their ass off, looking like a complete buffoon. Was enough to make our military pull out of Vietnam instead of realistically protesting for the military to finally have an end strategy. So there could be a numerous amount of things that may have got JFK killed, but I'm kind of curious if JFK was actually considering what I just said at the time to get us out of Vietnam way back then, was to give him a realistic approach to um, calming the war down, negotiating, being diplomatic about the thing. So, see, here at a time when the Democrats are in there, they can be diplomatic, and if they wanted to act like they were going to get us out of war, they could totally get us out of war by going and negotiating, but obviously we can't negotiate with terrorists. With terrorists, I've seen documentary type films that were aimed to make people. It was propaganda. It was aimed to make people think like Israel or America or something, a bunch of industrial monsters or something like that. Like we charged these guys over in Pakistan a bunch of money to build a bunch of buildings over there, and then and then they left them with the bill. We made them pay for it, and then we charged them or something like that. It doesn't make it doesn't make any sense what these people are saying, and basically they kind of are stupid people because stupid is it's no wonder they don't want to be called stupid because it means that you lack common sense. Here, look it up one more time. Word stupid. Stupid is stupid does, right? Lacking intelligence or common sense. So I've got a couple other screen shares to do right here because we're covering the Crusades. And it says lacking intelligence or common sense. So uh, or Crusades over Crusades over uh 1095. It says when Jerusalem fell, 1099 Crusaders massacred Jews, Christians, and Muslims alike. So I was kind of wondering, like, why Netanyahu would defend Muslims and then like say something odd about Trump's statement, but Trump, he's a good Christian. He really is. Trump is one of the best Christian role models I've seen in such a long time. I mean, seriously, my opinion is, and I brag and make kind of satire or whatever. People can laugh about it all they want, but I laugh too. It's funny what I said. It sounds funny, but it's true. I think Donald Trump is about the best role model Christian that I've seen in a long time. Besides Pat Robertson, I really like Pat Robertson a lot. I think he's a outstanding human being. Absolutely. He's one of my personal favorite human beings. Is Pat Robertson. I like him very much. But anyways, so we have when Jerusalem fell, Crusaders massacred Jews, Christians, and the like. Okay. Then now people have been talking about the Knights Templar. I've seen it over and over and over again in many different people's accounts on YouTube saying that the Knights Templar are part of the Catholic Church and that um, they're all basically what's it, evil perpetrators with the Catholic Church and this and that. And they mean one world order and whatever else government. And I tell you, that's bullshit. That is bullshit, and I'll tell you why. Because they have a picture of George Washington. There, they got a cross. They got an open Bible when they practice. So what they do, like what you say, people dance for the devil. Um, That's what they're doing. Well, these people are traditionally dancing for the Lord. They're not doing or practicing practices for Satan. I guarantee you that. And they're not for a one world government. They're for a non-monarchy, original founding U.S. government system that was founded by George Washington and the others, founding fathers. That's what they support. And right here we're doing in there, we wanted to point out this. Anybody has a chance to go look at Jack Jacques de Molay. They burnt this guy at the stake. Yeah, France did. King Philip the Fifth, right? Or the fourth. I don't know. I was mixed up. What was it? Uh, to the number four. Okay, so it's the fourth. King Philip IV of France, deeply in debt to the Knights Templar. The Knights Templar were the guys who had a monetary system, a money system. And what these guys would do is they would have the Knights Templar hold their money for them. They were like the original bank, the original banksters. And it was legitimate. They had to run it that way because these guys could protect the money. So there was all kinds of assets and money and paper notes and all kinds of negotiations and things going uh, through the Templars' hands in particular. So they were able to defend all the treasure. So this this king kept borrowing money and borrowing money and borrowing money until he got to the point where he wasn't going to be able to pay any of the money back. So, in order to, um, and it's all right in here in Wikipedia, the story on it, it came out, and all the carnage and crap that's going on today will come out someday, and it'll be on Wikipedia on how tyrannical the Democrats are. They're trying to attack the original founding fathers, founding of our government, the way our system's supposed to be ran. It was set up that way to be fair to everybody, as fair as they could, and they wanted to protect it from single people like these politicians who want to give you nothing but bullshit, run you through the ringer, and then rip you off and lie to you, and then burn your guy at the stake when they can't possibly ever pay you back for what they did. And they have done so much damage to our economy and to the state of America that they put themselves in a position like that where they're going to probably have to burn some good people here in America in order to not have to pay them back ever again. It just sounds like it. History repeats itself in many ways. I've seen that people also want to argue that also as well. But anyways, he cursed um, the Pope, maybe the Pope at the time, and this King of France, uh, Jacques de Molay. Uh, I'm just telling you what happened in the story when he was being executed and burnt or whatever. He cursed them, and they both died within a year. It's a true story. But that is basically when people, other Christians, and everybody else broke away from the Catholic Church and Europe, and they still try to tie them all together, us all together. And I'm telling you right now, there is, if you want to talk moderate, like moderation, a moderate Christian, uh, not a traditional Christian, somebody who, I don't know exactly what. traditions they still follow in the Catholic Church, but I know that some people um, take their faith serious, but um, I'm not gonna kill you over whether you be a Christian or not, you know. Or I'm not gonna spread my, uh, you know, my belief. The only thing that I'm gonna spread, though, for a fact, is democracy. So if there's a way that you can have uh, Muslims, Islam can be in a democracy. So let's look it up. Democracy. In argued some had the germs of an economic and democratic. See, we don't believe in uh, getting women, running children, people's arms over for stealing in stores. That's just barbaric. We don't believe in being barbaric, basically. Or, um, I mean, the right to solicit. Do you have a right to solicit your religion? I mean, is there a point where I we come together again in the middle and we argue about whose religion is better for the people, you know? Basically, in a place where it's already founded Christian, but yet you would want to tell me at points in time or later on or when at some point you're going to tell me you want me to leave you and your people trying to spread your Islamic Muslim faith. So I just, I'm the older, mature people that are Americanized, that came to America, that became successful and stuff. I believe that they can function in a democracy, and that I don't see them. I see them saying that they're Muslim, but I don't see them necessarily pushing it all the time. Like you have to be a Muslim, or you know. But the younger people, the newer generations, see, all these younger, newer generation people all think differently. They think that, that we're still at war, you know, and at the 1099, we're still at war. And what the Catholic story was trying to say here is that um, what they do is they try to dominate you and try to pounce on you and then get at you until you turn over your country and make it a Islamic country. And what these guys did in World War II was and this went on the History Channel, so I don't know where people, let me look at it here. I don't know where people think that I got that information from, but it was on the History Channel. On the History Channel, the History Channel had it that the Nazis were aligned with the Muslims, okay, in the Middle East. Hitler went down there and talked to them on many occasions. They had a pact. Just like them and Stalin and the other people had, him and Stalin tried to have a pact, but Stalin ended up aligning with Roosevelt in America. But the Arabs, Muslims, were aligned with Hitler at the time. So for whatever reason then, and that's very recent, that wasn't that very long ago at all, if you want to think about it, that they had a hatred enough against the Jews Um, so they were uh, they were tolerating the execution of Jews and the rounding up of Jews. So that's another thing that has me kind of scratching my head about the Jews and Netanyahu, because I've supported everything pretty much that he said up to this point. Um, I don't believe in anybody being vicious or vile to another human being. Um, so um, in that way, I only think that maybe our side's been violated. All I can tell you is, my opinion is that I just don't think homosexuality is natural. Is right. So some human beings might be genetically different than other people, and I accept that. I just um, I'm not necessarily believe that um, gay people are right about what they're doing. So I think all men were basically meant to have a wife. They're meant to be with a woman. They're all gonna be kind of, let's say, I am making how would you say that? Kind of, I'm not trying to be a womanizer at all. I'm just saying it's true. Women, their hormones, or whatever it is, they get a little off the rocker, or they're nutty sometimes. Sometimes they say some things that are kind of off the chart, but who doesn't? Everybody does. If anybody's been guilty of saying some odd stuff, it's me. Just would really not want to say too odd of things to be caught on one of these things doing it. But so I'm just saying that I don't believe in uh, gay rights. Is that right? Gay rights. I don't support them, but I also um, believe that that's up to a state. So to a point in my political opinion, I have to refrain and stop myself from going any further. It's like Friday the 13th movies where there's a zone you go in here and you don't want to fall asleep, you know. So I'm saying what happens over in the zone stays over in the zone. Perfectly fine over here. So you have your places where you go, and if people are stuck in the wrong place, I'm sorry. If you're stuck in a place where you're just miserable. Um, so don't ever forget history, though. It has, because it will repeat itself, and it does in an evil way. History doesn't precede itself and come about by always having the right medicine for the world. So out of what the world allowed to happen with a fascist German Nazi country was they had people have to put all the pieces together, build other armies to have a frontier to go combat tyranny. At that point, was muscle geared and oiled to destroy. And I mean, these guys are able to just flatten a place if they want. They have the military, and the military would blow your mind even back then. The Nazis army on how they could just flatten your house, your city, where you live, just kill you and your family, scare the piss out of you nonetheless. So All I know is, um, instead of stopping that and being able to combat that sooner, earlier, what we have is people talking about, us doing things that I think is possibly probably necessary. If the terrorists are gonna be acting like a bunch of Nazis, but undercover special op Nazis that are blowing up civilians, not just taking civilians or whatever they do. So, we can't spread democracy. So I don't know what people are trying to get to with this Obama and this Democrat push for another Democrat or for more Democrat crap, but you're taking democracy out of everything and you're sucking it dry out of America even. So you're taking it away from the whole entire world and you're putting us all in a very, very dangerous position. So I don't know exactly what these people's position are on for where they think that what kind of government should we be under, you know, if we're not under democracy, in a democracy. So, you're gonna get something fascist or extremely communist, and they're dangerous. They won't tolerate what you're doing. They're a geared up oil war machine is what it is. And people want to talk like our troops and our military, their government do their own things. So like invading Iraq, and Bush was wrong about doing that. And here we are, we don't do that, and we've got a complete caliphate on our hands. So what happened in Vietnam was absolutely disgusting. I can't believe that they didn't do like like what I said. They must have had to get John F. Kennedy out of the way because I truly think now it makes me wonder really seriously. Did Kennedy have a exit strategy on his hand? Did he have basically not all presidents are thinking that logically, I would guess, but we happen to have somebody who was on his feet, who was thinking on his feet, basically, when it came to all that stuff in his job in particular. So it's my opinion that that was like the last real good Democrat president that we had. And he didn't let politics dictate to what he was going to do for us as a president. You know what I mean? He stayed firm and solid and stuck to his guns for the people, by the people. So that's like back to like what I was saying about the states. As a federal government, the federal government is supposed to help out states, allow states to make their own decisions and laws and stuff. So you have a guy who um, basically now will let them do any liberal law, basically, practically almost up to full birth, term birth, abortion here in this place. Get away with it. It's murder. But yet, they want to sick Obama and whoever else's DOJs and his other special attorneys or whatever else, and he'll sue a state like Arizona. That Jan Brewer down there said they make a law down there. So then the government's like, oh no, you can't make a law to stop illegal immigrants from coming in here, and you can't make a law that basically catches them all red-handed and apprehends them all, rounds them all up. In a place where there must have been chaos or something going on there in particular that made them feel uneasy for that to go on like that. But it's not the federal government job to go and stop that. They're making marijuana laws and all these other laws and whatever this and that. You have to see which laws work for the best part, for the most part, and what works out for America. Um, not necessarily the entire world or whatnot. They want to talk about American exceptionalism and how all these immigrants came to America and founded America, and the backbone of America is strong because of the immigrants and all this and that. People really need to shut up about that and really need to go and look and research on their own what it took. All of those other immigrants that you're talking about that came here, okay, what they had to go through in order to become an American. They didn't just become American as soon as they came here. They didn't just have all this free stuff and things given to them, and it's all blown way out of proportion. But that's my opinion on that. Like I said, I would suppose that there could be moderate Muslims. So they're not, they have democracy. Are they in democracy in places? But we don't, but they become Americanized. See now, that's what I thought Israel did. Israel became like industrial, yes, and they basically took a lot of examples from us and made a democracy over there. So that's what I wanted for, was hoping Iraq would get, and then they would spread it from there and at least be able to defend it whenever they gradually spread democracy all around. But we have proof that communism and socialism had already taken place on the planet. They went through all that. Whole societies killed millions and millions of people had died. You want to talk uh, about the Holocaust? Well, talk about all of the people that died under communism because of socialism. So, because socialism will always end up becoming this monster that will get rid of the sick and the handicapped and the people who don't work and whatever this and that. Instead of helping them become successful, it just wants to clean house real quick. Wants to grab this, like Obama said, we're going to grab this mob. It means he's going to kill off a bunch of people. That's basically what it's a must be uh, an inside term that he's using that only him and maybe some other evil people understand. Grab a mop and get to work. Yeah, mop up what? Mop up dead people. People who they're gonna have to die and not and get as less exposure on that as possible. So um, uh, so while those places out there that all went through all that are coming around to being a democratic society, like I said, like we're trying to spread. Um, Now I'm trying to figure out, well, how come they want to make us a socialist? So we're supposed to go through it anyways, just for the sake of going through it, or do these people like Obama think that we really deserve a caliphate on our hand and to be, I mean, as much as he can until he's gone in a year, suck up to these uh freaking people who are terrorists who are trying to come here and kill us. And I really I'm trying to figure out how much they have Islam has to do with the pagans and some other religions. It seems like because that guy from that shot up at Umqua was they said that they fought a pagan, so maybe he had a church, a pagan church that they went to. Sounds satanic. So then uh, that I'm from Oregon, so I've seen them both, and I'm pretty sure that the Satanic Church uh, has pretty much the same symbols on the front of it that the pagans do. The pagans use different symbols and stuff, just like the satanic people do. And Muslims, Arab Muslims, um, those type of people that believe in Islam now were pagans before they became Muslim. So, um, I mean, if you really want to go listen to Islam about Islam and be converted into a Muslim, go ahead. But I really want to hear about what they're telling you and what you just learned. How you have to spread your thing. Uh, how do you spread it? Is it cause for terrorizing people, causing genocide? How do Christians spread it? Christians go around and they talk to different people, the best chances that they get, hoping that they don't get arrested or if they don't get attacked or something, something crazy happened because they want to talk about Jesus Christ to somebody for crying out loud in this place. It's basically in a Christian country they got it so that you can't even go out and do that. So I mean, as best as they could, they got it to where um, they're almost saying like you cannot practice almost. I heard some Democrats say recently that that they said that um, religious how do they say that your religious freedom or whatever your religious rights are in at the church. The church has a religious right, but people don't. How do people not have rights? So see how another way that they're attacking individual rights? My right to have this, or my right to do that, and say that. It's they're saying, oh, an organization only has the right to say that now. So now I have to come out as an organization or something like that to swing my opinion or what I say. So it kind of makes sense, like um, how they also try to defend Islam as a group or as a whole or whatever. They're doing is they're saying that they have a religious right or a religious freedom or something, and that it's not individual because how it breaks down that way, they don't have to be individual freedoms that they have. It just has to be a group thing. Think about what I just said there. If you've seen this video and hear what I just said, try to put that in your mind and process that what I just said. Think about it.